I'm sitting here today with my very first good counselor. I think I had been to maybe 3 kind of crazy counselors before I got lucky and found Lynne. And at the time, back it was 95.
Sounds right.
And so at the time, I had a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old, and I was 27 years old. Lynne was the very first counselor to just really start helping me. And when I first started seeing you, I was in pretty rough shape. My whole world was falling apart. And I specifically remember our very first meeting, and I remember a lot of details about that. One of them was I was having all the symptoms of panic attacks, but I didn't know that they were called panic attacks. And then you told me, oh, you're having panic attacks. And then I remember telling you that I just want to sit down one day and not do anything and feel good about myself, because I was an overachiever. I had to be the perfect mom and the perfect wife, which I wasn't the perfect anything. But at the time I was, I had to control everything. So you helped me through. I remember you saying, I was on a sliding scale and it was $10. And I said, I can't afford that. And then you said, yes, you can afford that. And then you said, this will help your kids and your husband, your family. And I said, what do they have to do with this? So those are the things I remember. Do you remember any of it?
It was so long ago, and I am so old that I can't remember 15 minutes ago, let alone decades ago.
Yes.
Not specifically, no. I remember you were very fragile, just kind of scared of everything. Mm-hmm. Especially remember you being afraid to drive a car. And now you drive all over the place. And it just blows my mind how you dressed. And I'm very, very proud of you. I think you've done just wonderfully.
Thank you.
Lots of guts now, lots of courage you didn't have before. You were so, just kind of a scaredy cat of everything. And I'm so impressed with everything you've done.
Thank you.
And proud to have helped you achieve all that you've achieved.
You were like the mother I never had. The person that I could tell all my secrets to, the very first person that I could just, dump everything. The reason why I feel like people benefit from having a good counselor is you get to go in there every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, and you just dump the shit on them. That's what you're paying them for. Then you would always help me. I always felt better leaving than I did waiting in the waiting room.
Right.
So I'd always try to time it just right.
Yeah.
So as soon as I walked in the door, you would come out and say, okay, come on back. Because of my panic attacks, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Because I'd work on stuff during the week, my journaling and everything, and I'd review it before I went in. And so it was right at the surface. All the anxiety was right there with all of the emotions and stuff. But you, I would say 90% of the time you knew just the exact right thing to say to me.
And just what?
The exact right thing to say to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would make me, oh yeah, that's what that is. What was your background for counseling? Like, what kind of degree did you have?
I have a master's degree in mental health counseling from Oakland University, and I studied psychology at Michigan State University. And the reason I got into the group therapy was there was a movie coming out, and I can't remember, but it was about a little girl, young girl, had been sexually molested by a relative. Where I worked, manager asked if anybody would be willing to do a group counseling for victims of sexual abuse. And because I had been lucky enough to go with one of my teachers to a Parents Anonymous group meeting, and Parents Anonymous, I don't think it's going anymore, but it was wonderful. It was for parents who were abusive towards their children, and they wanted to stop this behavior and wanted help. So because I had that in my background, the boss, so to speak, at the clinic, when he asked for a volunteer, he was looking right at me. And so I said, I don't know, okay. And that's how I got started with the group therapy for people who had been abused as children.
Was that at the facility where I met you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah. So
Crisis Counseling Center,
oh,
it was called.
I didn't remember that name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Filling in the blanks. I was in that group, and the overall view is that I learned a lot from that. I think the number one benefit for me for the group was to connect with other abuse survivors and to talk.
I'm sure that's true.
Because all those years you cannot talk. So it's like, I don't know, for the first time in your life, you're just like, blah, 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 blah. You know, I couldn't talk enough.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, I would guess that having other people who've been in the same boat,
Yes.
that it's easier
Yes.
to talk about it, because no one's going to go, oh my God, you know, how shocking.
Right.
Because they've been there.
Nobody's going to judge you.
So a lot of empathy, sympathy, understanding.
Yeah.
Understood each other.
Yeah. You can have this empathy that a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
You know, where we've been. And so my other question is, I was with you for 8.5 years, and then we moved to Florida, and then we were only there 11 months, and then I moved to North Carolina. And I was always in search of the next Lynne. Yes, I was heartbroken. But our financial, just our life changed, and for our family, and we had to move. So anyway, but I was grateful because it gave me an opportunity to meet many other counselors. And a lot of them, well, most of them didn't work out, but a few of them had pieces of the puzzle for me that were amazing. I mean, they were just like a main gem of wisdom. And I was like, oh my gosh, I needed to see that.
That's an interesting point, because a teacher or counselor is coming from their own style.
Right, perspective.
And someone else
Yes.
could be talking about the same thing, but in a different way.
Right.
So it can resonate with the client.
Right.
Excuse me, that's it. Cold left over.
So the one thing that I noticed, though, is that by seeing all these different counselors, the ones that had a degree in, is it sociology?
There are social
work
workers,
degree, yeah.
counselors, psychologists.
Yeah. So I didn't think they were nearly as helpful as you having a counseling degree. My two favorites out of over exactly 20 counselors that I'd seen over all these years, both you and this other man had counseling degrees. So I found them to be most helpful, but I wanted your input on what you thought about that.
Well, I'm glad you, excuse me, asked that question, because I am very proud of the counseling degree. And I believe that counseling, we not only study the psychology of how people come to where they're at, but learn techniques. Literally, I mean, that's part of the whole curriculum of how to help them move beyond a stuck point. And we were exposed to a lot of different famous counselors with their own, what you call it, their own
Strategies?
their own, not style, but theories.
Yes.
Their own theories.
Yeah.
And so we, as a counselor, we were able to pick what would work really well for us.
Okay.
Like I couldn't maybe do hypnosis.
Right.
But I could incorporate some of the Gestalt, excuse me, techniques, and a lot of others. One in particular was unconditional regard that I think is very important for clients, and kind of what you talked about earlier about being able to open up. That counseling, strong emphasis at Oakland University, where I got my degree, on regard. And the other degrees or the other slants, I'm definitely not putting them down because they're extremely valuable.
Right.
And again, I like that idea of having more than one counselor because you get a different slant,
Right.
a different approach,
Right.
which I remember I used to teach horseback riding. And one of the other coaches would say, I've been telling this rider over and over and over again to do thus. And then someone else comes along, says the very same thing, but in different words.
Right.
And it's, oh, holy cow. So, but that's just human nature. That's
Right.
just the way we are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like two thought leaders can have the same messages, but whether we connect with this person or that person is
Right.
what makes the difference, and whether we're going to hear the message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but I was grateful that I had. I know I was heartbroken to leave you, but I was grateful that I did get this wide range of input from other
I think that's a very good thing.
from other therapists. It just worked out. And I do believe in synchronicity, and I feel like the universe had a plan for me, and so that I would
I believe that.
get my lessons from this person and
believe
that
that.
person.
Because you've come up with this wonderful, amazing program
Yes.
for trauma victims.
Yeah.
And I'm just so impressed. And it's a wonderful program. And, you know, that old expression, you take lemons and make lemonade.
Yes.
And you have put together a program that is not only intellectual, but from what you experienced,
Right.
what it was like for you and what worked.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very popular system to follow because it's really excellent. Really is.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for reading it. You read it last June.
You know, I was so
June.
impressed. Just it's. I think it's going to become very popular and kind of a
Stand.
yes, because everything you mentioned, all of it is important, and there's a little of this, a little of that, a little of this, and it all comes together
All ties
beautifully.
together. And I learned more stuff when I was writing it, but I also can see where it would have been extremely helpful if I would have had that
Yes,
when I was.
that guidance.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. It would have been, I think I would have gotten through it quicker if I would have if I would have understood how the brain works and how the, and just that, all the symptoms.
Therapist needs to understand.
Yes, that's
So
true.
that the therapist can lead the client
Yes.
into exploring different avenues.
Yes.
that
Yeah, it's a
could be
good
helpful.
tool for even therapists to go through.
Mhm.
So who knows where it's going to go, but this is the beginning. After working with so many people through your career, what do you think made the difference between them staying in survival mode and, leaving trauma land, as I like to call it, but moving through it?
Sticking through it were people who had a lot of courage and determination, commitment, and they were ready. Some people they're just not ready. It's too overwhelming for them. When people go in for therapy for trauma, they're up to here with having to live with the memories and everything else. And they really, really want to move past it. And then they're willing to do the work. I had one client tell me that every day before she came in for a session, she'd throw up. She was so anxious. But then she came and got it out of her system and had a new perspective on what happened and what her position was, what it was like for her. I would say that the number one agony that these trauma victims go through is that they blame themselves and they don't understand why they didn't tell anybody sooner. So those two things that clients need to work through and understand that, it wasn't your fault no matter what.
Right.
Even, a kid being real seductive and suggestive, the adult should recognize that and understand that this is not normal behavior and something happened to this child. Or it could be the child's personality, because...
Right.
But it's not her fault or his, the child, that the adult takes advantage of them.
All right.
That's the adult's 100% responsibility.
Yeah, and kids are very sensual, and by abusers, that's seen as sexual. When there's two different worlds there.
They're afraid to tell because the first reason is they don't think anyone will believe them.
Right.
And
And it's like another trauma on top of the trauma. It's like knowing that you can't tell anyone.
You can't tell anyone, they won't believe you, and then you're even more helpless
Right. Right.
because you have nowhere to turn
Right.
and no help.
Right.
So,
I always use the analogy that if similar trauma happened to us as an adult, how would we handle that? We'd go tell everyone, we'd get help, we might go to the hospital, we might, whatever we needed to do to take care of ourselves.
and
We
you
would
get
sob
lots of
and
support.
cry.
Yeah.
Yes, you'd get support. But the child, with their very immature nervous system, their emotional regulation is not even,
Lack of vocabulary.
everything. And
Fear.
then they have to bottle it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the real trauma is seated right
And
there.
then what it does to their self-esteem
Yeah.
is overwhelming
Right.
because they feel inadequate and there's something wrong with them. I've had a lot of clients tell me they think everybody knows what happened to them just by looking at them.
Oh, I went through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a terrible, terrible thing for a child to go through.
It's like a sentence. It's like a life sentence until you break it and you get help.
And there are some people like yourself who go through it, get the help, resolve many, many issues, and then turn around and can help others
Yes.
do the same thing because you've been there, done that.
Right. Yeah.
And you understand that the therapy is difficult.
Yes.
Very difficult.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen overnight
Right.
because you used to say we don't get there overnight, so we're not going to get better overnight. And I remember Brenda in group, I used to always say 6 months, I'm going to be done in 6 months. Then it was like 6 years. It doesn't matter now because if I felt like I needed to go to counseling, I would in a heartbeat because I know how beneficial it is. Or if I thought, a coach would be good for me, anything. So whatever makes my life better. But it's pretty good right now. So
Well, you were one of the people who took responsibility
yes,
for your well-being.
yes,
And you were willing to go through whatever you had to go through
right,
to get there.
yeah. And part of my driving force too was my kids, especially my daughter, because I was so animate about this will never happen to my kids, never. I don't care what I have to do, crawl through mud, whatever I got to do.
Right.
I was up for it, even though I hated it. I hated going to counseling. I hated, that I had to do all this stuff. But then I don't know, I just had this drive that now I always say nothing stops me.
Well, it's courage.
Yes.
And that's the reason you've accomplished so much in your life, since then.
Right.
Just, you amaze me.
Yeah.
I mean, you do.
Yeah. It's just when you don't have your brain function because of trauma, and then all of a sudden I have a brain without trauma. It's as if there's no trauma. And now it's like the world is wide open.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, this
Yes.
is incredible. And I wish I was younger so I could do more.
Yeah.
I love learning. It's just like the whole world opens up because that is,
Cloud that
the cloud is
cloud.
gone.
dissipate.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah. I'm grateful for all of what I've learned, but it is what it is. And if I would have sat around still, I could be the person that sits around and still be blaming my parents for how they raised me, and that would have been such a waste of my life. Such a waste. So I'm glad I didn't do that.
I'm glad you did too. And I really sincerely believe that this program you've put together is going to be extremely helpful.
Yes.
And I'm hoping therapists get a hold of it.
All right.
And clinics and hospitals. I mean, it should be, it could be, and I hope it will be what's the word?
Recovery center.
A basis, that's a word. It starts with
Foundation. No.
Yeah.
Protocol.
A role model.
Yeah.
It's let's
Procedure.
stick with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a word now. Think of it tomorrow. I can't think of it right now.
So, this was an interesting question I had. Do you believe that healing is about understanding the past, or do you think it's more about understanding the past or learning to live differently in the present?
I think it's a combination, because in order to live differently in the present, it is frequently necessary that you re-examine the past.
Right.
Because the past, again, children are so innocent and they take on bad stuff as though it's them.
Right.
They're bad.
Right.
And clients need to re-explore that and understand, no, you were fine.
Right.
You were absolutely fine, and you still are.
Right.
And none of this was your fault. And
Right.
None of it has changed you into something undesirable.
Right.
If you're still the beautiful person you were born to be.
Right.
And when you understand all that you are innocent, then you can begin to look at your everyday life and make choices.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want to be? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? And you have the freedom to do it. Especially, I think, people like you who have gone through a really rough period in their lives and then overcome it, that they've learned, they've just learned things that people who never experience trauma, I don't know who that person would be who never experienced any trauma.
That's true.
I think of growth, and I see people coming down a path like this, going straight, and then there's a bump in the road, and it's really, it's a huge, mind-blowing, horrible problem, situation.
Right.
And some people say, I can't deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't deal with it. And so they turn to drugs or alcohol or anything to avoid this bump in the road. And some people say, I can't live with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then other people say, I am not going to let that bump ruin my life.
Mm-hmm.
And they work and work and work at it. And then they come over the top of that bump.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're coasting along until they come to the next bump. Because there are bumps all through life.
Right.
And so they come to the next one. Well, they have learned a lot from overcoming the first one. They've
Right.
developed skills.
Right.
And confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So the next bump in the road, some people would say, well, it's not fair.
Right.
Life is just not fair.
Right.
And I quit. I give up.
Mm-hmm.
But other people will say, okay, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not going to let this interfere in my life. And they get over that bump, and now they're here. And they grow, and they get wiser and wiser and more put together and more capable of dealing with life. Life is difficult. So
I love that analogy.
I do too.
You never taught me that one
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, because it never stops.
Yes.
It never, there's always bumps.
Yes.
But your
Life
attitude.
is one damn
and your-
thing after another.
It's that first one
Yeah.
that's so hard.
Yeah.
But that's the one that, if you stick with it, it'll give you the courage
Yeah.
and the confidence
Right.
to, like, I can deal with anything.
Right.
I may not like it, but I will deal with it.
Right. Yeah. You realize your strengths. I have a friend who's a trauma survivor, and whenever we were hanging out, something would come up. I'd always go, we've been through worse.
You see what?
We've been through
Oh,
worse.
yes.
So it was just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, relative to, the trauma and all it.
Some people just can't deal with life. And
Yeah.
I think that's the bottom line for a lot of drug abusers and alcoholics, that the drug or the alcohol is an immediate release.
Yeah, like a fix, like a quick fix.
But it doesn't fix anything, and it just adds to the problem.
Yeah.
So, it does take, as I said, a lot of
How did
courage.
you help survivors feel safe enough to open up to you? Was there any skills that you were taught, or?
Well, I think, as I said earlier, that unconditional regard, that clients would pick it up, that I don't care what you say, I still think you're wonderful, because I do.
So is that like a technique like Gestalt therapy, or what's the other one?
There is a name for it, and I can't remember what. Humanistic.
Oh, okay.
Is it? Humanistic.
I never heard of that before.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of you recommended the Road Less Traveled, that every client should, or every survivor should read that book. So I wanted
Everybody.
everybody. So I wanted to be the perfect Lynne client. So I read it 5 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, over the years. You
Yeah.
should see my copy. It's just all beat up, tape
Yeah.
and everything. But he was brilliant, and his work was brilliant.
Absolutely.
And he was on my bucket list of someone I wanted to meet before I died, but he died rather young. But anyway, his legacy in that book lives on. And one of the things I remember that this conversation reminds me of is that he had to extend love to his clients for them to get better, and they would feel that love. And I always felt that with you.
Oh,
Of
thank you.
course.
Good. Yeah.
And we were also talking about
It's also genuine. It's
Yes.
not something that you're not acting.
yes.
It really is a positive regard
Right.
for people.
Right. And I feel that this compassion, I know we also talked about the idea of, I physically was in your office all the time, but nowadays some of the counseling is done through Zoom calls. And so there's not that physical contact. But my experience was when I finished up one of my clients, we were both in tears. And she was saying, "I love you, Maggie," and I was like, "I love you." It was just so. And she said, "You have totally changed my life, and I'm so grateful for you." And it was just so wonderful.
Yes.
So I believe that even though it's not physical, you're in an office with me or something, I think it can really have a profound effect on people.
I do too.
And especially, well, nowadays, a lot of things are done via Zoom or whatever. So the other question on here, okay. So if you were to give one piece of advice to somebody like I was when I first met you, that's struggling with past trauma, they're raising kids, and they wanted to, what would that be? Your advice to them?
One piece of advice. I would encourage them as much as I could to go through the therapy. And that was my client, and she was really a basket case. I will go as slow as we need to go.
Right.
You know, sometimes you're going to have to grit your teeth and just talk about it. But if it's overwhelming you, okay, we'll move on to something else. And just to encourage them that you can get through this. I promise you, you can get through it.
Right.
You just need to bite the bullet and talk about it.
Yeah.
Especially not only what happened, but your feelings.
Right.
How it impacted you and your self-esteem. How did it affect your view of yourself? And just to talk about it, because that's how you get it out of your system, by putting it into words.
Right.
And it just comes out. And they're, for most people, a great relief, just having someone they can tell.
When I was doing my healing work, I did a lot of work outside of our visits. A lot of.
I know you did.
And I think that was a huge
Benefit.
To me. And I would bring stuff that I learned into counseling with you. And like one of the books I was reading, I think, when I was seeing you, well, of course, was Scott Peck, The Road Less Traveled. But then I got a hold of the Bowlby books that were about separation and loss when children were very young, because part of my issues were deep-seated abandonment issues because of being put in foster care when I was young. So anyway, so can you talk a little bit about the importance of maybe a person's going through counseling, but they also have like my course, or they have some books that they're going to do this additional work.
Yeah, whatever they can do, whatever they can find that would be helpful on the subject. Because again, as we were talking earlier, 2 or 3 people may be talking about the exact same thing.
Right.
But the way it's phrased by one particular person, it resonates. So, reading books, whatever kind of program you can get into. And then it's valuable to bring that back into therapy.
Right.
And talk about, say, well, I read this or I heard that.
Right.
And it really had an impact on me. And just talk about what you learned outside of therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
And in those books, a lot of times they are therapists writing these books. So you're learning. I remember the book by Renee somebody, but it was called Repressed Memories. And I got a lot out of that. Sometimes I would just go to a bookstore and look in the self-help psychology books, and just something would just like jump out at me. And I know that book was one of them. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So when I brought it triggered me. So, but I got to the point where I wasn't that afraid of triggers.
You weren't that afraid of
triggers. Like I knew that, I was just building this like I had a lot of tools in my toolbox. Like I was constantly building tools to deal with harder and harder stuff, I think.
It's the bumps.
Yes, the bumps. Yeah, everything's tying back here. That's good. So I thought to end this, I would review some of the lessons that I learned from you that I'm so grateful for. And some of the things came up in our therapy sessions. I remember one where I would say something and you would say, is that in your head or is that in your gut? Do you remember that? Yeah. That was, that just taught me to trust my intuition. And it was good. I could ask, and I remember this is not even on there. I remember sometimes you would say, how old are you?
Oh, yeah.
That was very helpful.
Yeah.
And right away, and you also taught me, that's not on here either, is the free association kind of stuff. And to not be afraid of just maybe writing it down, but just thinking, like, what's coming to my mind without judgment, without, you know, don't label it, don't, you know, build a story around it. You know, it might be something really weird that's coming up, but if you look at it, it might be, and sometimes it kind of like forms into a daydream, actually. You know, like you're creating this whole, you know, thing or whatever. It's just threads of truth that I think come through. Okay, the other thing I have here is you always reminded me that things weren't all bad, or else I would have been dead. So it's true, because if your parents are like 100% evil, they're, you know, you're just not going to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, there was love there, regardless of how dark it would get. You would always remind me that there was love. So that taught me to see the silver linings, and always look on the bright side, and always feel hope. So I learned, you know, how to do all that. Then another thing you taught me was to back burner things. When I first started seeing you, we were financially like a train wreck. And I always wanted to work on my finances, but you would always tell me, no, you have to back burner that this is more important.
Right.
And there will be a time in your life when you can pull it off. And it actually happened. And I was like, okay, here we go. And I've done very well with my finances now, because I have the capacity, the bandwidth. I don't have the trauma anymore stopping me from, you know, anything.
That dark cloud has drifted away.
Yeah. So that's been nice. Oh, I remember you used to always say, how else could you have handled that? And that would get me to come up with alternatives to how, and it was very important for me to have you, because I was raising little kids. So, and my, what do you call that? My role model was my mother, and she was very mentally ill. So I didn't have a good role model. And so I'd always come to you and go, oh, my Aaron did this, Allison did that. So, and then you'd go, how else could you have handled that? So, the other thing was, well, I already mentioned the road less traveled. And then I wrote that you love me unconditionally, because you were like, I could say anything to you. So that was good. And you'd always say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
And that things are shades of gray. They're not just, I think trauma survivors, they have that built in, like black or white, you know. Oh, and the other thing you taught me was that in our crazy families, black was white and white was black. Everything was, you know, like there was an elephant in the room and everybody was walking around it. Like, oh no, there's no problem here. It's like, wait a minute. I remember years ago, there was a Phil Donahue show, and they had a counselor on there that was talking about incest or trauma. And this girl, she stood up. She goes, "There's no way I can confront my parents about this. They'll go crazy." And the guy right away goes, "They're already crazy." I was like, yeah. Oh, that was so good.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah. Yeah, the black and white, silver wines. Okay. And then when I look back over my entire healing journey, it's like so many things go back to you. And I'm so grateful.
Well, I'm so happy. I'm really happy that I was of assistance. But you did the work.
Yes, I know, but
You did the work.
yeah, but there's so many people that didn't work for me,
Mm-hmm.
and that
We just connected.
yeah, you were a blessing. So I'm just always grateful. So I had this letter. I'm gonna try to do this. Okay. I just want to say thank you. You helped save my life. You helped me get through years of panic attacks and depression. You were like a mother I never had. You loved me. You listened to me. You let me bring all my stuff to you every single week. You helped piece together my shattered life. When I didn't know how to do it myself. Now I have a peace of mind I never dreamed possible. And now because of you, I get to guide others on that same path. Helping them leave TRAUMALAND behind.
Oh, thank you. I want to say again that I'm glad I helped facilitate your growth, but you're the one who did it.
Yeah.
You're the one who did it.
Yeah. And I was just telling my son the other day, he said something about you're so smart or something. And I said, you know what? Years ago, I would have never dreamed that this brain was on the other side of all this. I never dreamed that I would have this peace and this intelligence and this power.
And this courage.
And courage. And I'm very courageous. And I do a lot of things, even though I move out of my comfort zones. I know that something's going to just make me shake in my boots, but I'll stand up and just do it.
And you know what? Something I've just thought of is that I bet that the work you did to get over your own personal trauma, agony, pain, you developed skills and a confidence that you could do things if you wanted to do it.
Right.
You could do it.
Right.
And you find a way to do it.
Right.
Yeah. And I think you're amazing.
Oh.
Really. I mean, look at what you've done.
I know. I know.
I mean, the crocheting, the B&B,
Yeah.
and now this fantastic program you put together.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's, I think, all the skills and self-confidence
Yeah.
you gained from all the hard work
Right.
that you went through.
Right.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, I just faced the what do they call that? That you face your demon.
Dragon?
Yeah, I slayed the dragon.
Yeah.
Really, it was terrifying sometimes. So terrifying to go in those dark holes. But no, my whole body would be like, oh, what is this? And I would just sit with it and I would go into it. I feel like that, me developing that ability to do that is like one of the biggest keys to how I got.
I think so too.
It's like, because I never read about doing that. But I kind of pieced it together a little bit with some other stuff, but I never concretely, knew that that's what I want. I would just started doing it. So, and it was just like,
Well, again, if you could get over what you got over,
yes.
if you could get it that first
Yeah,
back
I went
the
way
road,
up there.
Yeah, you just, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. And it is, you know what it is now too? It's like nobody can knock me down. Nobody can make me feel bad because I know
You're okay.
Yeah, and I'm okay, but I just know how amazing I am and how amazing I was, and it was never not true that I'm amazing. That was never true. All the stuff that I was, raised to think about myself, and because of our situation and everything, none of it was true. And I wasn't crazy. Like, I felt like I was crazy, but I was not crazy.
Right.
So, and now it's almost like a part of me is like, I'm showing everybody I'm not crazy, like, so.
No, you're not only not crazy, but you're innovative. And again, it's the courage and the ability to think out of the box and the determination.
Right.
Like, I'm going to do this.
Right. Yeah.
And then doing it.
Right. Yep. So, yeah, I just wish I had another lifetime. Don't we all?
Well, some people believe you do.
Maybe my legacy will live on for that. I mean, that'll be me. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. But
Well, I'm hoping that the right people get a hold of the program you've developed and that they use it and it will be successful.
right.
And then that will be your gift to the world.
Yes. My gift to trauma survivors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember years ago, I used to think I wanted to have I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice to have a counseling center where what do you call that? I screen the counselors so that somebody doesn't have to go,
Oh,
to 20 to find,
yeah.
and I would hire all these Lynnes. So anyway, okay, I think we're done.
Okay.
We're done.
Well, it was.
Do you have anything more to say? I'm just gonna go ahead.
Let's see. Well, I think you are the proof that if someone is willing to tackle their issues, that they can come out the other side free to develop their talents.
Right.
Because the talents have been squished down because of the trauma, and the energy focused on the trauma
Right.
doesn't give room for the creative abilities that you have.
Yeah.
And so the key is to just deal with it. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
Get help and deal with it. And you'll be so glad.
Yes. And I remember one other lesson I could have written on that list was you'll expend more energy in your lifetime trying to hold the trauma down than you would just go into therapy.
And letting it go.
Yes. Yep. And I don't know what it was about me, but you never had to tell me not to come in, or you never had to worry about me not showing up.
Well, you were determined.
Yeah.
You said you're going to yourself, I'm going to get through this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. But
To
you
get
have to, I put that in my course too. You just have to make the commitment that no matter what, like, I had a way of saying it, but no matter what, you stay on the mission. Like, oh, I know what it is. The mission becomes more important than any of the pain that you have to go through, because you always have your eyes on the mission. It's just like, okay, whatever I got to do, you know, whatever black holes I have to go down, whatever thing I have to talk about that I'm uncomfortable about, whatever makes me nervous or scares me, I need to look at it and just keep going.
I think of it as your willingness to deal with it.
Yeah.
And the word is deal.
Yeah.
I will deal with this.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I hate it. But I can deal with it, and I will. I'll
Right.
find a way
Right.
to deal with it.
I didn't want my kids to go through that crap. I didn't want them to go through that hell. And I said, no matter what, my kids are not going through this shit. No. For 90% of that is true, because I wasn't a perfect parent, but
There are no perfect parents.
I know, but
There are no perfect people. And that's fine. Thank God there aren't.
right.
Because if they were, then the rest of us would feel really inadequate.
Yeah.
Somebody's perfect.
Yeah. And I think too that some people, like for me, they develop some specialized talents inside the trauma. Kind of like there's a saying that says, those who go without go within. So a lot of very creative people and a lot of very successful people have a trauma background.
Right.
So it's interesting.
Like Van Gogh.
Yeah.
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 It's, yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
But maybe it's Scott Peck's book, Life is Difficult. That's the first sentence
Yeah.
in his book.
Yeah.
And if things are too easy for you, and I think about this with raising kids, if you make it all too easy, you get those roadblocks out of their way, you're not doing them a favor, because they're not learning how and that they can
Right.
tackle what comes in,
Right.
in the future.
Right.
So it's better that they learn under the protection of their parents' roof
Right.
to deal with it. You know, you got to
Right.
deal with this, and I'll help you.
Yeah.
But I want you to figure out ways that you can make it better,
Right.
or ways that things you can say to yourself to comfort yourself to get through whatever it is. And that actually, not being perfect is a really good one.
Right.
That you give yourself permission not to be perfect, because nobody is.
I remember you saying that kids that are raised where they're handed everything on a silver platter are sometimes worse off than a kid that's gone through trauma, because even though, you know, through the trauma, you do learn some coping skills, like how to cope with the trauma, how to live with the trauma, always in the background and stuff. And I also think that the creativity comes in because you have to create a world inside your mind where I had to feel safe. So I could go inside my mind and create this, just be creative. And I was always like, I was good in arts and so I would just go with, I had a fantasy world, you know, like I actually believed, I think I was in third grade, that the knight in shining armor on the white horse was coming to get me anytime. And I envisioned the horse. But that never happened, of course. But I think I actually probably played that out in some relationships where I thought that was going to happen. But
And your knight in shining armor fell off his horse because he wasn't perfect.
Well, it was actually late. So,
Yeah.
see how.
The other thing that I remind myself that it's okay not to be perfect because nobody is. The other thing is you cannot be, there's no one in your life who will be exactly the way you want them to be. No one, not a parent, not a child,
Right.
not a spouse, not a friend. No one's going to be exactly the way you want them to be or wish they would be. But the good news is you don't have to be exactly the way somebody else wants you to be either. You get to be who you are.
Right.
And you give them permission to be who they are. You don't expect them to be perfect. And it's reasonable for you to say to yourself, don't expect me to be perfect.
Right.
Or be exactly the way you want me to be, because I can't.
Right. To believe the same things and
So it's
that's a timely conversation right now.
okay.
Oh, funny.
So, it's like when a friend disappoints you.
Yes.
Well, she can't be exactly the way you want her to be.
Right.
She's going to be who she is.
Right.
And you like her because of these other things.
Right. And also, there's always going to be, like life will never be a bowl of cherries.
Life will never be
a bowl of cherries.
A bowl. Oh, my brother used to tell me that.
Yeah.
He'd say, Lynn, you think life's a bowl of cherries. You're going to find out it is.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll never get to the point where life is easy.
No.
No. We're always adapting.
We get to a point where we're coasting along this road of life and everything is wonderful. And then, damn.
Yeah.
Here it comes again.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with it.
Well, that's the way it was in counseling. Like, I feel really good. I work through something. I'm just like, yeah, this is good. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, here we go. I'd have a really bad dream or something would come, or a family situation or just something would rock my boat. It's like, oh, shit, here we go again. No.
And it's just life.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah. We'll be changing until we die, adapting and changing. But, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, this was painless.
It was very painless. I've been through worse.
I get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please?